Hey Wolfpack, and welcome back. I hope all is well, and I hope you enjoyed your day yesterday. Today, we're reading the final part of I'm the Only One in My Family Who Isn't a Cannibal. So with that said, whether you're sitting around a campfire, on the night shift, or even laying in bed, let my voice soothe your nightmares. It's Angie again, guys. I'm sorry I haven't talked to you guys in so long. I didn't think everything would hit me this hard, but it's been a lot to process. Alex and Miss Cora have been helping me a lot. Celia and I don't get along too well, so she doesn't understand me well enough to know why this is affecting me the way it is. That's kind of ironic because apparently I don't know myself well enough either. I guess I should start where Alex left off. We have been traveling from hotel to hotel, trying to stay below the radar, and we even changed our appearances. We all dyed our hair. Well, everyone except for Celia. We had to do some sketchy-looking stitches on her, so we couldn't really do much with her hair. She's healing well enough, but she's going to have a funky-looking scar. Lori isn't with us anymore, but the twins are. Alex mentioned in the last update that she wanted to get the twins back, and of course, I wanted to go back with her. She had been acting real weird on the way there. Alex was driving, Celia was asleep, and Miss Cora had decided to stay back at the hotel rather than go with us. Lori spent most of the ride talking about old times, back whenever we were kids. Then, she randomly changed the subject. Angie, how much do you love the twins? She glanced at me from the back seat of the dark car, and she made sure she caught my eyes to see my whole response to her question. I found this a very strange topic to change the conversation to, but I just turned it back on her. How much do you love them, Lori? She paused for a minute, and then said, not enough. Alex glanced at me, obviously confused, but neither of us responded. I know it's sad to say, but I've never really loved them. I pitied them. But that's because of the life they are being forced to live. Lori said this while looking out of the window, and she wouldn't make eye contact with me anymore. Alex looked at the reflection of Lori in the rearview mirror as if she was the stupidest person he'd ever met. Well, you don't force the lifestyle on them as well, Lori. Drop the attitude, lover boy. I'm not going after your girl like Elijah was, snapped Lori. Alex blushed beet red after she said this, but I ignored the comment. She took a deep breath and let it out before she responded. Yes, I do live that lifestyle, but that's not entirely what I meant either. What I mean is, I never wanted to have them in the first place, and definitely not the way that I did. I looked back at Lori to see that she was crying. I didn't really know how to respond. Lori wasn't like Elizabeth and I. We were never close. I may be a screwed-up individual, as you always call it, continued Lori, using air quotes around my description. But some part of me has always known that lifestyle isn't right. It's just become an addiction. But what our father has done and is forcing the others to do? She started crying so hard that she couldn't get the words to come out. Alex and I don't know how to respond, so we don't. The rest of the ride was spent in complete silence besides the occasional sound of Lori's sniffles. When we got a few miles away, we parked the car in some brush by the road, so it was somewhat hidden. Since it was night, and there were never that many cars on the road, even in broad daylight, we were completely alone. We got the gas cans out of the trunk of the car and walked to the house. While we were walking, none of us spoke at first. I was a nervous wreck. Alex could tell, and he grabbed my hand and squeezed it, letting it swing between us as we walked. I'm very grateful to have him around, and if you can't tell, we've started to view each other in a different way. Well, really, I started to view Alex in a different way. He said he always felt that way, but our situation wasn't exactly ideal for a healthy relationship. Lori was the first one to break the silence. I want you to take them, Angie. She was walking a few steps behind us with Celia trailing at the end of the line. I knew what she meant, but I still asked anyway. The twins? She nodded. So I looked up at Alex and waited for him to meet my eyes. I squeezed his hand again, and he seemed to be thinking about it. He squeezed back a few seconds later, and I took that as a yes. All I replied to Lori was okay, and we spent the rest of the walk in silence. When we made it, Lori put in the code for the gate, and we were in. Alex had the idea to bring dog treats to distract the dogs, plus they knew and trusted Lori and I. They barked a little bit, but luckily, they quieted when we gave them the treats. Alex also brought a gun with us, and he still hasn't told us how he got it. On a side note, I'm actually really mad at him about that. Lori asked Alex to give her the gun, and he looked at her like she was stupid again. She rolled her eyes and whispered, "I have to go get the twins." "Then I'll go with you." Now, he had me looking at him like he was stupid. He squeezed my hand again. "I'll be okay. You two can go ahead and pour the gas on everything. Light it up as soon as we get out." I nodded before he let my hand go. Lori didn't seem to like that I was only concerned for Alex's safety. She rolled her eyes again and in whisper shouted, "We'll try to be as quiet and quick as possible, but good thing Loverboy has a gun." We each took a gas can and poured them all over and around the house. It was completely nerve-wracking waiting for them to come out of the house. I've never been religious, but I was silently praying the whole time. Suddenly, Lori barged out of the house with one of the twins in her arms, and Alex quickly followed with the other one. The twins were screaming bloody murder. "Light it up!" He handed the twin in his arms to Lori, and that's when I heard the sound of screaming that was coming closer towards us. Alex whips around and shoots whoever it is before they can even leave the front porch. Celia and I quickly ran around the house throwing lit matches on the fire, and I saw that the person he shot is John when I get as close as I can to the porch. Alex had shot him in the neck, and his face and chest were covered in blood. Lori grabbed a match out of the box in my hand. She quickly lit it and threw it on top of him, and he started shrieking. After a few minutes, he finally stopped. The flames swallowed the house incredibly quickly, and it was almost beautiful. I say almost beautiful because I could hear my mother screaming from inside. Someone tried to jump out of a window facing the front yard, but Alex quickly shot them. I have absolutely no idea how he is such a good shot, but he's got skills. Whoever he shot fell back into the house. We sat there and watched the flames for a while, making sure no one else tries to escape. I honestly expected it to be more difficult than this, but I guess my parents were caught off guard and didn't plan for us to do this to them. Lori leaving as well was probably a big blow to them, but apparently they still trusted her, or maybe they wanted this to happen, considering no one really put up much of a fight. "We should go soon," said Celia. Lori walked over to me and handed me the twins. "You have to make sure everyone is dead first." I looked at her face to see tears in her eyes. At the time, I had thought she was having a rough time like I was, which is why I have to do this. I looked at her confused until she grabbed the gun out of Alex's hand. "Lori, no!" Alex tried to stop her, but she put the gun in her mouth and fired before he could. I don't really remember what happened after that, because I spent the rest of the night in a daze. Alex was worried about me and also about the twins, but I don't even think they understood what had happened. I'm still sort of in a daze, and I'm better than I have been. I knew I had to update you guys. I couldn't leave you hanging. However, this will be the last update. I'm sorry it was so drawn out. I'm sorry about a lot of things that I never thought I would be, but I'm still glad everything happened. We may be on the run, but that just means we'll never be trapped there again. Thanks for watching, Wolfpack. If you want to catch me by the fire next time, I upload every weekend including Friday. Don't forget to like the video as it helps me out more than you know. If you want to submit your story, head down to the description. Now, here's Roken to howl you off to sleep. Have beautiful nightmares.